Taxes, taxes, taxes. This might be everybody's least favorite word. And one of the more common questions that I always get, how is my injury settlement affected by taxes? We're going to find out on this week's Monday Morning Lawyer. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. This is your accident and injury attorney, Jobeth Bowers, right here from my Elkton office. We are coming at you talking about a topic that is super hot right now because we're a little bit over a week away from a federal election. So taxes are always a hot topic there. This is not a political conversation, so we're not even going there, but it's a reason why people are thinking about taxes. Also, we're getting close to the end of the year, which means those W-2s, those 1099s, all of those tax documents start coming to our mailbox within a few months. And then, of course, we have to put it all together to pay taxes or file taxes or get our refunds, depending on where we are and what we're doing. So what about our injury cases? What about our accident settlements? There are many, many times in which we are able to achieve results for our clients where they might be getting in an injury settlement after attorney's fees, after medical bills paid, after everything's been handled, that exceed their annual salary. It happens a lot. If the injuries are bad and the insurance is right, and make sure you're checking the previous episodes to find out how important the insurance coverage, specifically your insurance coverage, is to what you might be able to get in an injury settlement. It's a lot of money. And oftentimes the question that I get from clients has to do with the tax implications of their injury cases. Here in Maryland, for injuries sustained in an auto accident and a whole lot of other things, but I want to talk specifically about auto accidents today. And please, if you're in and watching this live, make sure you comment in the chat or in the comment feed, because at the end of the episode, if we have 5 people who have jumped in on that, we're going to give away that $25 gift card to the grocery outlet here in Elkton. If not, we're going to roll it to next week. And I know that might not be as exciting, the grocery outlet gift card, as maybe the Flyers hockey tickets, but guess what? I'm going to keep running this until I give away that gift card. It's going to be there are more Flyers tickets in queue, but not until we give away that gift card. So get in here, get chatting. But today we're talking about these taxes. We're talking about your settlement. We're talking about that time where you show up to my office, everything is great. You're about to sign a few pages of documents, nowhere near as many pages of documents as you're going to sign if you're buying a car, and especially not if you're buying a house. That's a ton of paperwork there. Here is just a couple of pages. One of them is a release of claims saying, hey, we're taking this money and we're not going to sue your driver. That's it. It's over. It's done. That's actually an insurance company document. That's not my office's document, but we have you sign that here. A lot of times you end up signing that before the insurance company issues the check, especially on a lot of our larger cases. Most of these insurance companies don't want to cut a check for 6 figures, send it out, and then have the person be like, nope, I changed my mind. They aren't going to cut that check until they've gotten that release back and they know that this claim is absolutely closed. So that's going to be one of the documents you're going to sign. There's going to be a breakdown that says, hey, this is where all of the money went. As we've talked about on previous episodes, one check shows up to my office. It's got your name and my firm's name on. It goes into a bar. The state bar is monitoring this account where all of the money goes. And from there, we cut the checks for attorney's fees, for reimbursement of any expenses for the litigation, collecting medical records, things of that nature, any outstanding medical bills. And another thing that we've talked about, your health insurance company, sometimes they're owed some of their money back. That check gets cut too. And then, of course, the big check, the important check, is your check. So you're going to sign a sheet that says, hey, this is where all the money goes, and I'm authorizing my attorney to cut these checks. Now, we've already talked about all of these numbers. You've already said yes to these numbers over the phone or in person before we even got this paperwork rolling. So we actually cut the checks before you get to our office. We just don't send them out until you sign the form. Then I hand you your check. And that check is for every penny that I told you were going to get, sometimes more. Sometimes I get you to agree to a number and then we work some magic behind the scenes. And by the time you show up at my office, some of those medical bills or the health insurance companies decided to take a little bit less. So your check is bigger. It's never going to be smaller. It's only ever going to be bigger when you show up at my office. But that check is going to be for the full amount, no withholdings. When you go to work and you work 40 hours at X dollars an hour, you can't do that math 40 times X and expect your check to be that same amount of money. There's always taxes and withholdings and everything like that. But what about your injury case? No. No taxes taken out, no withholdings whatsoever. Which means, of course, we fast forward to the new year. We're just a couple of months away from the new year. End of January, it's time to send out W-2s. It's time to send out the 1099s, all of those tax forms that said, hey, I sent so-and-so money. Here's a list of who's sending you money. Sending you those tax forms because of your injury settlement. That's right. Absolutely no one. You aren't getting a tax form from me, not from my office, not from your insurance company, not from the other person's insurance company. As of today, and I don't think there's any conversation in the future about changing this. It certainly may happen. It certainly may happen in our lifetime. But as of today, Monday, October 28th, the time that I'm recording this podcast and live streaming this podcast, you do not pay income tax on your proceeds from your injury settlement. Not a penny. Zippo zilch. Nope, it is your money, free and clear. Do with it what you want to do with it. No tax ramifications. Now, I tell my clients this all the time. If you take that money and you invest it somewhere and it grows, you probably are going to pay income tax on that growth. I'm not going to get into the particulars of how to avoid that other than one situation that's relevant to accident cases because I am not a financial advisor. So if you want to talk about investment strategies for that settlement money that will grow it and minimize your tax obligations, definitely talk to your investment person. There is one option, one thing that we can do for our clients that will help that money grow without having to pay taxes on the growth. This is something that anytime one of my clients is receiving in their pocket settlement proceeds that are pretty close to, if not more than six figures. And that is something called a structured settlement. I'm not going to get into all of the particular details about a structured settlement today. It's a great topic for a future episode. In fact, I'll probably get a colleague of mine who sets up these structured settlements to join me on an episode to talk about them. But ultimately, a structured settlement is a situation where you say, hey, I'm going to defer the payment. This is what you got to think about it as. I'm going to defer the payment of my settlement proceeds. And this can be all of it. This could be some of it. Let's say that you're receiving $100,000 from your injury case. And you know that maybe you're not the best with money, or maybe you just don't want to be sitting on this amount of money. You might say to me, hey, Mr. Bowers, can I take $20,000 now and put the other $80,000 into something that pays me down the line? The answer is yes. And the great thing is if we set it up before that release is issued, because there needs to be special language in the release, we set it up ahead of time, and the money goes directly from the insurance company that's paying it to the company that controls the structured settlement, meaning it doesn't come through my office. It doesn't go through you. We don't touch that money. And again, it can be all of the money. It can be some of the money. Any growth on that money. And when we set these up, you know what the growth is going to be. You structure the settlement. You get to say, hey, I want all of the money 10 years from now, or I want the money spread out 10, 15, and 20 years from now in 3 lump sums, or I want the money starting 10 years from now on a monthly basis for 10 years. Anything is possible. You're going to realize some growth. It's going to be dependent upon whatever the interest rates and what the market looks like when we set the structure in place, but it's guaranteed. Whatever return you sign on for, you get. And again, we're going to get into all of the details in a future episode. I'm going to get a colleague of mine on here to talk about structured settlements. But the important thing, and why I'm mentioning it, because today we're talking about income taxes on your injury case, is that it is a way for you to grow that money tax-free. Whether you take the money the day that we disperse the settlement or you take the money down the line, you don't have to pay taxes on that settlement. And any growth that happens through the structured settlement is just seen and treated the exact same way as if you took that money day one. So if you were to find an investment product out there that could do exactly the same thing as the structured settlement, for tax reasons, you might be better to do the structured settlement. So we're going to set that up for a future episode. The moral of the story today, the big topic that I wanted to touch on was income tax. This is both for the state of Maryland and the federal government, U.S. No income tax on your auto accident settlement, and a whole bunch of other injury settlements fall into that category. But again, I want to talk about the auto accidents because that's what we do here at Bowers Law. So that's what I want to talk about. Other than that, that's about it. It is actually a super simple, somewhat unbelievable, but super simple topic, super simple concept, but it's often misconstrued because clients are often asking me about the numbers. Then they say, oh, but then I have to account for taxes. No, you don't. That money is yours. It is free and clear. So that's all the time I have for today. Check it out. If you have questions that you want me to answer here on the show, boom, right there, info@bowerslawmd.com. If it's a topic about auto accidents, I'm going to get it on here pretty quickly. If it is a topic that is outside of the auto accident realm, I either know a professional or I'm going to track down a professional, and I'm going to bring them on here just like I did with Miss Herndon last week when we were talking about expungements, or any of the other fine colleagues that I've had who have come to this show to talk about whatever topic we were talking about today. So looks like we didn't have anybody. We have people in here watching live, but nobody in here dropping into the chat and telling us that you're here. So we're going to push that $50 gift card from Grocery Outlet here in Elkton to next week. So make sure you tune in. Tell her I got people clicking the like button. I appreciate that. But comment, please. I can't see who you are. This is the reason. The only reason I need you to comment in the chat is so that I could take your name and put it into the wheel of names. Because otherwise, all I see is the numbers. I could see how many people have liked it. I could see how many people are watching it, but I don't know who you are. And if I don't, oh, there we go. We got one. Oh, it's Sydney, who's actually home today, not feeling well. Sydney, you don't count. You can't win this prize. So anyway, next week, let's tell a friend. It's always 10 a.m. It's always Monday morning. We've got one more in there. Yes, please watch again next week. We definitely want you to come watch next week because we are going to be giving away that $25. You know what? Now that I've mistakenly said 50 instead of 25, let's tell everybody. Let's make this huge next week. I'm going to go out and I'm going to match that gift card. I'm going to buy a $25 gift card to go along with the one that Grocery Outlet gave us. So next week, we're going to give away $50 to the Grocery Outlet. We just need to have enough people here and in the chat. So I hope you guys learned something today. If you have any questions about anything accident related, here we are. This is our number. We're right here in Elkton, 885-6200. We are here. The sooner you call us, the better. We are here to help you out. Thanks. Until next week, be well, be safe out there.